G'day, this is Mr. Thompson. This is part 2 in designing your CO2 Dragster using Fusion. In this video, we're going to take our blank, which we created in the last video, and we're going to shape it into the body of our dragster. Okay, now the first thing I'm going to do is I closed this and opened it again, and I've just noticed that my top level component is activated. I want to work on my dragster body, so it's very important that I select and activate the dragster body. So if I click on this circle next to the dragster body, now the dragster body is activated. That's important because otherwise when I create sketches and things, those sketches will be in the wrong part of my browser, and that'll cause me trouble down the track. So it's something to be very wary of, to make sure you've activated the component that you want to work on. Okay, so I'm going to draw a side profile and a profile on the bottom, and I'm going to cut those profiles to shape the blank, and then we're going to do some fillets at the end of all that. So let's get straight into it. So I'm going to click on Create Sketch, like that. Click on the side of the blank, like so. Let's just move things around a little bit so I can see what I'm doing. Now, can you see that line there? If I move this around a little bit, that line there, that shows me the hole for the CO2 canister. Now, I need to make sure that when I cut away my blank, I'm not cutting into that hole. In fact, the regulations, the specifications say I need at least 3 millimeters clearance between the hole and the outside of the dragster body. So I'm just going to, if I click over here on right so I can see, I'm just going to be careful of that to make sure my outline goes outside of that hole. All right, I'm going to start by drawing a line. So I could come up here and create line, or I could just use, I'm just going to use L on my keyboard, L for line, and it creates my line tool. And I'm going to start up here somewhere, and I'm going to click there and draw a horizontal line out to, well, why not just draw it out to there, like that. Okay, and then I'm going to hit escape because I've finished drawing my horizontal line. Now I want to draw a curved line. I want to draw something that curves down like this. So I'm going to use this spline tool. There are two types of spline. If we come down and we're going to have a look, there's a fit point spline and a control point spline. We're going to stick with the fit point spline. It's a bit easier to use. So that's that one there or that one there. Either will do. So click on there. I'm going to start by clicking on the end of that line that I drew earlier. Clicking there, and I'm just going to do, I don't know, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That should be enough. Okay, and then I'm going to click on that last point was on the bottom line there. It's got to be exactly on the bottom line there. And then I'm going to click on this green tick box to finish. Now I'm going to press escape because I finished drawing my line, but I think I want to tweak it a little bit. So I can grab any of these points here. I can grab them and move them to change the shape and get it just right. In fact, I'm thinking I'm going to pull that back a little bit like that, maybe to there. And I'm going to, yeah, I like the look of that. What if I do something like that? You make the shape that works for you. That looks pretty good to me. Now, one thing I don't like about this shape is that that's got a corner there, and I'd rather that be a smooth curve. So what I'm going to do, if I click on that point there, see those handles? I can adjust the curve with those handles. So it's not moving the point, but it's moving how the line behaves at that point. So if I put it like that, let's see, like that, and then I click away, and I click away again. Now I can see that's a smoother curve there at that point. And I could do that for any of my points if I wanted to. But you know what? I'm pretty happy with the rest of them. Okay, now the regulations say that my dragster has to be a particular length, or it has to be shorter than 305 millimeters. Now the balsa blank itself is 305, so that's not a problem. But it's got to be longer than 200 millimeters. I wonder how long mine is. Let's put a dimension in just to make sure that we're okay. So D for dimension on my keyboard, D, and I'm going to click on that back line there, and I'm going to click on that front point there, like that, and that tells me that at the moment my my dragster shape is going to be 224 millimeters. point something or other. Why don't I just make it around 225 like that? There we go. And in fact, well, it's a little bit more than that. But what if I just, oh, hang on, escape. I'm just going to escape a few times. Click on that front point, and I'm just going to adjust the handle there a little bit. Move it down. There we go. Now, back. Yeah, actually, I like that. Okay, I've got to be careful. I don't want that line to ever cross over down here, and I want that to be at the very front. Okay, so that is 225. So that gives me 25 millimeters longer than the minimum length. So I'm okay with that. All right, I'm going to do another spline here. So click on spline, and I'm going to cut away some of this balsa here. That's just probably heavier than what I need. So I'm just going to come maybe from there down to here like that, maybe down like that. That'll do. Escape. Not escape. Hang on, I'll do that again. Down to there, like that. I've got to hit that green tick first. Then I do escape to get out of that tool. And that looks pretty good to me. All right. Now, in fact, I'm just going to fix that a little bit. I'm going to bring it forward a little bit. That's probably a little bit better. Okay, I like that better. All right, now I've got to put some holes in for the wheels. So I'm going to use this circle tool. So again, create, circle. See that letter C? Means I can use C on my keyboard. I'm here now, so I'll just click on that. Or use C on my keyboard. And I'm going to put a wheel hole, I don't know, maybe one there. And you know what? Before I click again, I'm going to say it's got to be 3 millimeters diameter, because that's how big our axles are. They're 3 millimeters. And I'm going to do another C for circle, another circle up here somewhere. And I'm going to make that, or actually, you know what? I'm just going to make, for now, I'm going to make that whatever it is, 9 point something. And I'm going to use this equals constraint tool to make sure those are the same. So if I click on equals, I can click on, let's zoom in. I can click on that circle, and now I can click on this circle, and now they are equal in size. And you might ask, well, why didn't I just dimension that to be 3 as well? I could have done that, but this way, if I ever change that dimension here, this one will automatically change as well. So this one will just be whatever that one is. All right, I'm going to click escape. I'm going to grab that 3 millimeters and just maybe pull it out of the way a little bit. So if you zoom in, you can see it. That's the diameter measurement from one side to the other side. Now, the other thing I want is these two axles here. I want them to be, well, I've got to look at their height. How high have they got to be? So let's do a D for dimension. And I'm going to click on that circle there and that bottom line there. And I've got to get that height right. Now, at the moment, it's 11.2. If I look at my specification sheet, the rules say that the distance between the bottom of that circle and the bottom of the dragster body needs to be no more than 10, no less than 5 millimeters. So because that's a 3 millimeter diameter, I guess the distance between here and here has got to be no less than 6.5 millimeters and no more than 11.5 millimeters. Now, I'm going to go 7.5 millimeters. I'm choosing a fairly small number, and the reason I'm going 7.5 is 6.5 is the minimum, because that would give me, that would be 5 millimeters from the bottom of that hole to the bottom of the dragster. And if it's only 5 millimeters, if I make a tiny little error, I might disqualify myself if the hole perhaps is drilled a bit too low, or if I sand a bit too much off the bottom here. So I'm going to give myself a millimeter to spare. The reason I don't want to make it too high is because if I make the wheel high, then not much of my wheel will stick out on the bottom of the dragster. And if there's not enough wheel sticking out on the bottom of the dragster, it's hard to fit your eyelets in underneath. So I'm going with 7.5. I think that's good. All right, now I've got to do the same on the other one, but let's use another trick for the other one. I'm going to use this horizontal vertical constraint. Remember, if you can't see it, it'll be there like that. But use that horizontal vertical constraint, and then I'm going to click on that circle there and that circle there. And what that does, that says that this one here is going to be exactly the same height as that one there. So the equal signs means it's the same diameter, and that symbol there, that horizontal constraint symbol means it's going to be the same height. Okay, now I'm going to press escape a couple of times there. Now these holes here, I can still move them backwards and forwards, so I have to constrain them. So I'm going to use D for dimension, and I'm going to say the distance between the back of the dragster and that hole there, I'm going to say at the moment it's 62.8 or something. What if I just made that, I sort of like where it is, what if I call it 63? Okay, so that's exactly 63 millimeters. And then I'm going to fix my wheelbase. So my wheelbase is the distance between the two axles. So I click on that one and that one, and I'm going to have a wheelbase. It's 137. I think I might push it that way a little bit further. What if I try 138? You can tinker around and work out what you want, but I like that. Well, actually, you know what? Maybe I liked 137 better. 137. Yeah, I'm going to leave it there at 137. Okay. All right, we're ready to extrude. So I'm going to press E for extrude, and that will finish the sketch and open the extrude tool like that. And I can move the extrude tool out of the way if it's in the way. Now, I've got to select the profiles that I want to cut away. The bits that I want to cut away, I want to cut that bit away, and let's zoom in, because I also want to cut those inside of those axle holes. I want to cut them away as well with a drill, obviously, but okay, so that's 1, 2, well, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 profiles selected. And I'm going to just click on the home view so I can have a look in 3 dimensions. So what I need to do is I need to push back that way. See how that cuts away what I don't want? Now, how far have I got to go? I guess I could type in here minus 42 millimeters, which is the width of the balsa blank. But a better option is, instead of cutting for a certain distance, I can cut to the edge of an object. So if I click onto object like that, now it's asking me to select the object. The object that I want to cut to is that face. So if I click on that face, now it cuts all the way from the sketch all the way to that face that I just clicked on. All right, so now if I press OK, that looks pretty good. All right, what have I got to do now? Now I'm going to do the bottom profile. Let me just see if I've named everything here. Oh, I haven't. Let me just name that sketch. So that sketch there, that was that side profile. So let's call it the side profile, like that. Always good to have your sketches named. And now I'm going to click somewhere else so that the plane's not selected, and I'm going to create a new sketch. And this time I'm going to turn my dragster upside down and click on that bottom plane there, that bottom face there. Now I'm going to have to rotate it like so, and zoom out and zoom back in using my wheel mouse, my mouse wheel. Okay, now I need to create a symmetric shape here. So what I want to do is I want to create a mirror line down the middle, and I want to create a cut on one side and mirror that cut on the other side. So L for line, and I'm going to click in that center there. I'm going to come over, well, anywhere over here will do. So click there and then escape. And then I'm going to click on that line that I just drew and press X to turn it into a construction line. It's a dotted line. So it means we're not going to use that for a cut, but we're going to use that for a mirror. All right, let me show you what I mean. Now I want to put a nice line there. So I'm going to use a spline again. So click on spline there. And I'm going to just rotate a little bit because I want to see where my holes are. Because the rules say that the width of the dragster at the holes, at the axles, has got to be between 35 and 42 millimeters. At the moment, they're 42 millimeters. I'm not going to take anything. I'm just going to leave them at 42. So I don't want to cut in too close at those axles. So I'm just going to start my cut here, like that, and I'm going to maybe come to about there. So click there and finish my cut. I don't know, about here somewhere. Okay, and then click on the green arrow. So both that point there and that point there were actually on that edge. Now I'm going to press escape and I'm going to fix up these splines here. So I'm just going to adjust with this handle here. I'm just going to change, make that handle horizontal so that I get a nice smooth curve rather than a corner. And I'm going to do the same over here. Click on that point so I can see the handles. And I'm going to just change that handle there so it's horizontal as well, like that. And so, oh, is that horizontal? I need to zoom in a bit. Yeah, that is. Okay. So that gives me a nice smooth edge there. All right, and you know what? I think that point there is probably a little bit too close to the center. I'm just going to pull it out a little bit, like that. Okay. Now I'm ready to do my mirror. So I'm going to use this mirror tool or create mirror. So the mirror tool, and well, it's already selected that line because it was already selected. If it wasn't, I would do this. I would just go select that line there and then click on here because I've now got to select the mirror. That's my mirror line. And can you see it's giving me a little preview of what it's going to do. It's going to put that line in. So if I click OK, there we go. Now, if I change this line here, can you see the other line changes as well? Because they're always going to be a mirror image of each other. So I'm just going to get that. That's where I want it. That's good. And I'm going to extrude now. So E for extrude, which finishes the sketch and opens the extrude tool. And I'm going to extrude that and that. And click on the home so I can see what I'm doing. I need to extrude upwards like that. Now how far? I'm going to use this same trick over here. I'm going to extrude to a particular object, and the object I want to extrude to is this top face here. So it's cut from the sketch on the bottom all the way through to the top face. All right, okay. And there we go. All right, that's looking pretty good. One more thing I need to do. I want to put some fillets in because I want to get rid of these harsh edges. I want round edges. So let's do that. So if I click on my fillet tool here, and I'm going to click on some of those edges, that edge there and that edge there. Let's start with those two. And what if I make a 5mm fillet? See how it's curved those edges? That looks pretty nice, doesn't it? Okay, let's add some more. So I'm going to click on plus, and I'm going to use that edge there and that edge there. And I'm going to make them also 5mm. That looks pretty good. Now you can play with that depending on what your shape is like. You might like less or more. And in fact, if you make your fillet too large, it's going to complain and it won't like that fillet. So for example, if I made this, I don't know, maybe if I made that 15mm, see how it's going to complain? It's going, hang on, if you make it to 15mm, you're cutting away too much of your wood. So I'm going to take that back to 5. Okay, all right. Okay, now I'm going to add some more fillets as well. I think I'm going to come, that bottom edge there, I want that to be smooth. So I'm going to add some more. I'm going to click on that one there, and I'm going to make that a nice big diameter, maybe 15 or so, to make that nice and smooth like that. All right, okay. Now, one more thing actually is this back section here. I'm going to fillet that back section of there. So you know what? I could double click on that and add some more fillets. But you know what I found last time I did this? I found that gave me trouble when I did that. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to create another fillet tool. So that's the fillet that I just did. I'm just going to add some more fillets in this step here, add a separate step. So I'm going to pick that line there and that line there. And let's try 5. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I might even go more than 5, about 7. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I think I like that. All right, and I'm going to go okay. And there we go. So that is now our dragster. Now, you know what? I'm looking at my dragster now and I'm thinking, that might be a little bit too narrow. I think that might break. So what I might do is I'd like to actually go back in time. And so if I go back and I find, where did I do that sketch? That was that sketch there. So if I double, so this helps me go back in time. Watch this. So now I've got rid of the fillets and now I've got rid of the extrude. and that's the sketch there. So I can leave that all the way up there. If I find that sketch, I can double click on that sketch and I can go back into that sketch and I can play with it a little bit. So I wanted to move it out just a little bit. Okay, and when I finish that, and so I can actually go back in time to the things that I did previously and change them. As long as your changes aren't too radical, your model will just automatically update according to those changes. All right, I think I'm done. So let's save that. And in the next video, let's say the body is shaped. Okay. In the next video, we'll look at how do we create some templates or some stencils that we can cut out from paper and stick onto our wood. So we're going to create a drawing, but that's next video.